I was asked today to talk about creating a shift in culture. So I'll have to stand up, I think. The bad news is I don't really know how to make a shift in culture towards happiness. The good news is I think I know where to start. And the neuroscientist said it first. Attention. It's how can we shift our attentions as individuals to start with towards happiness. From despair to inspiration, from misery to happiness. So for me, it was a very personal journey. I started 30 years ago. Unfortunately, my parents both died when I was a teenager, and all of a sudden I was an orphan. And all I had to use all of the forces that I knew to focus my attention from grief, despair, and happiness to happiness. And that journey has led my life to here, to this stage, speaking on the same stage as the Dalai Lama. So I think it's kind of going in the right direction. But for me, the idea of the one thing I learned early on as a child, as a teenager, was there's some things that we cannot control. We cannot control what happens to us on the outside. And what I learned early on was that the one thing that we can control is what happens on the inside. And is that creating that shift from despair to happiness. And that's what we do have control over. And that's what we do if we take our attention and take it sometimes it's not just a happiness to joy straight away, but we can take a baby step and keep taking those baby steps. If only I'd known Action for Happiness 30 years ago, it would have been fantastic. So Action for Happiness, when I discovered them recently, 5 years ago, I thought, wow, this is an organization that we all need. It's 10 keys to happiness. I'm sure you all know them. The 10 keys, scientifically proven keys that will help us to take that baby step to happiness. Everything from, with the 10 keys from resilience to giving to generosity. These keys are core, scientifically proven things that we can actually do. So when I heard about this, I got so excited, and I got in touch with them and said, Psychologist Magazine, we want to partner with you, we want to do something with you. And so we came up together with the idea of happiness clubs. Happiness clubs. What's a happiness club? So I am a great believer in getting people together, getting friends together, come around, book clubs. Everyone may have been a member of a book club or know of a book club. I've been a member of a book club for 5 years, and those women have sustained me through my life in the last 5 years. So I said, well, why don't we do a happiness club? So instead of discussing a book, we discuss a key to happiness. So I started my first happiness club at the beginning of the year with 3 of my friends. And we have some food, we have a glass of wine, and we talk about a key to happiness. And we ask questions. We have coaching questions that were printed in the magazine. How can we unconditionally support ourselves? How can we unconditionally support others? We're asking great questions that will make us think, hopefully make us think differently. And then at the end of our happiness club, we all commit to doing something differently to help our own happiness or other people's happiness. It's been absolutely a fantastic experiment for me personally, but also, as we see it's working, we've now got 1,000 happiness clubs up and down the UK. So let's say that's 10,000 people. So that's the start of creating a culture change and a shift towards happiness. So for me, I think, yes, thank you. And that starts with an idea of me getting enthusiastic about it, talking to Mark and Action for Happiness and going, yeah, come on, let's do something. And that's the key here. It's what His Holiness was saying today, is we can do something. It's finding a way to do it. So as a magazine editor, it's challenging out there. I'm on a steep learning curve of how do I engage an audience in the 21st century when there's so much hatred and so much sleaze, the headlines out there, we're being bombarded, and it's all trying to snatch at our attention. So my magazine is about kindness, it's about love, it's about happiness. How do I capture people's attention with that? And sometimes I do. I despair a bit. But then people do buy the magazine, and then I see everyone here today, 2,000 people here today. At the O2, there were 10,000 people, all to see His holiness. There is a grassroots movement of people who want to do something. But it's not them out there that's going to change. It's us. It's us who are going to make that change. So what I would invite you all to do is that you can start a happiness club, you can go on a happiness club, whatever it is, but we all start taking an action for happiness. Whatever we do, we take responsibility. Go away from today and think, what can we do differently to do that? Mine started with an idea. We've got maybe 10,000 people starting happiness clubs around the world. It's only one idea is needed, one action that's needed, one action for happiness. So I'd invite you all to do that today. Thank you.